I'm in the business of finding great security talent for businesses and helping talent find their next home. One question that I'm asked, look, the skills shortage here, but I'm sure we're hearing that all the time, so I won't go into that. But what I will say is that we're approached day in, day out by even school leavers, graduates, people that are in their first year or two of their IT career, right through to highly experienced, say, Windows Server engineers that are thinking, well, you know, the market's not like it was. Maybe it's time. I really enjoy security. I always have. Always been passionate about it. I'm seeing a future here, and there is. What do I do? How do I get across to that? So, I mean, what's your advice to help someone, you know, build their knowledge from time spent on personal training into their knowledge, right through to actually, you know, formal certifications or qualifications? What's your advice?
Good question. Good. And what I'll do is I'll step back a bit in terms about I'll just briefly talk about the skill shortage. So when people approach me and they talk about the problem of cybersecurity, I break it down into three challenges I see. One is one of complexity. It's a complex thing. One is cost. It's expensive to secure your assets, etc. The third thing that I talk a lot about is the fact that we have a skill shortage. And you talk to Gartner, you talk to Cisco, etc. They'll tell you that they've got figures, etc. But as the challenge sort of evolves, we need more skilled people in the workforce. It is a very you require unique skills, and security is so broad. You can be an analyst, you can be a risk professional, etc. So those three things I think contribute to the difficulty that we face at the moment. For people, either whether they're coming from another career or coming straight out of uni, etc. I think having a technical background is a must, and that's where you usually start if you're start in cybersecurity, like an analyst somewhere. So a programming background, etc.
That's the big one. Programming seems to be the really big one at the moment, because it used to be just the network. Like they used to view it as just network, but now it's so much, and we're seeing. I'm certainly being asked a lot for those that have got good experience understanding the code piece, as well as the firewall, as well as how the networks are flying traffic around.
Because what I generally find, and this is a generalisation, is a lot of coders or a lot of developers, etc., have a basic understanding of how network transports a network, because they've got to write code accordingly. A lot of network people don't seem to usually have the same crossover.
No.
So having a good background, and also too, another generalisation, but you've got to have as an analyst, you've got to have a very good eye for detail.
That's right. For understanding the organisation policy that you're working for. Through HR policies, through everything.
But absolutely. Even eye for detail to pick out the proverbial needle in a haystack sort of thing. So having a technical background, having coding skills would lend towards a good analyst type role. But there are a lot of resources, a lot of organisations out there that have certifications you can get started on. I know that was the track that I took to my CISSP about 12 years ago.
That's a great one, isn't it?
That's a good broad.
CISSP,
CISSP is a very good broad. It won't make you an expert in any particular domain, as they call it, but it gives you a good, very broad understanding of the security discipline, we'll call it that.
Sure. What are the key disciplines? Are there 10 or 12 pillars?
In CISSP, there's 10.
There's 10.
Yeah,
there's 10.
There's 10.
Which are the? Do you want to run us quickly through, a few of the?
Yeah. So the key ones that the key one that stands out for me was cryptography, because I was terrible at it. It even encompasses things like physical security. Encompasses a bit of risk management as well. And there's others that I don't come to mind, but it gives you, as I said, a very sort of good broad understanding of the security discipline as a whole. And then it's really these days it's built in for once you've got that, you can then decide which one will be your specialization: network security, physical security.
And it gives you a deeper dive into these different key areas to understand. Well, actually, I really enjoy cryptography. I enjoy risk. I enjoy policy. I've done investigations on behalf of some of the talent that I'm working with. Around some of the certs. Ethical hacker, which seems one that a lot of the young ones are really looking to do. Some of the CREST ones, the SONS ones. A lot of them have a year or two's mandatory sort of on-the-job experience before you actually get your piece of paper, which you then take to interviews, which then gets you the interview. So it's chicken and egg in some ways. How does one get past that if you are a school leaver or a grad or something? How does one get past that?
If you're a grad, and look, a lot of ASA members here locally have approached me with the same challenge. And my advice to always them is to try and get in on the ground floor somewhere. If it's a help desk role, get into it. cross-skill yourself and then eventually make the jump across. It's not something that you can readily jump straight into if you haven't had that particular background. So my advice would be get a technology role, help desk role to start off with, etc. And then cross-skill yourself and make your way across either within that organisation or applying to another organisation.
And the old favourite, which has been working for years and will continue to, is make friends with the security guys.
Correct.
And take them for a beer and just make friends and hopefully they'll kind of give you some
information. Come along to an ASA meeting. Yeah,
most definitely. Web link at the bottom of the screen.
Yes.
That's really, really good. So in terms of what other education options are available to?
Look, there's a lot of universities these days will have undergraduate and postgraduate courses in cybersecurity. I know QUT here locally does.
That's good.
And it's
That's good.
They especially have one around SCADA security, control systems, etc. So that's another avenue if you wish to take it. And a lot of people do in terms of they will start in a career in information security and then may do tertiary education part time, etc. But there are many different avenues in terms of tertiary education, in terms of certificates you can do, in terms of industry certification you can take as well. It'd be good to talk to somebody if you are interested. Talk to somebody who's well versed in that, and like yourselves, like come to ASA meeting, etc.
Absolutely, yeah.
And just get some options. Yeah.
And it's like anything else, hard work begets rewards. Get out there, go, play with coding at home. Try, play with some of the tools that are freely available.
Yeah.
Again, go to forums, go to meetups, go to things, and get out and talk to people, and learn.
No, that's right. And
you can't beat that, can you? It's just that dedication and passion, because that will help you get to where you want to be.
No, that's exactly right. And if there's one skill that and again generalizing, that we tend to lack in the security space, is the ability to network, is the ability to work on those soft skills. I see a lot of members coming up asking me about the technical certifications, but they tend to miss the soft skills that, to be honest, employers are actually looking for. They're looking for culture fit. They're looking for the soft skills. Because you can teach someone to code, you can teach someone skills, but you can't teach them culture and you can't teach them attitude, etc. So,
and I guess when you're getting more into the security leadership roles, or the ones, in any large organisation, you could be the handbrake. You could be the one running around saying, no, you can't do that.
Correct.
In actual fact, it's about the compromise and negotiation to actually bring those stakeholders that could compromise your role or compromise the integrity of what you're trying to do, but they could also help you.
Yeah.
So again, those soft skills absolutely are probably the first thing that I'm asked for by clients, that someone isn't going to run around like an ogre with a stick beating people. They're actually going to be a little bit more consultative and engage with people and find out, all right, look, ideally this is best practice. This will secure you.
Yeah.
But do you know what? This is what we can do to help you achieve your business outcome without completely stopping the project.
I'm glad you mentioned that, because that is where any good security professional should head. You've got to have a good technical skill base to work from, but it's your ability to be consultative, to engage, etc. And security, we need to be not seen as a handbrake. Traditionally, we are, and in some respects, yes, that's true.
Yeah,
you have to be. However, I think overall we need to move from that to be enabler. And then from that to which I see is to be a differentiator down the track. We're not there yet. We're only just at being the enabler for IT, but I think that's the direction that we have to move the discipline.
And the other, I mean, another big pressure for security pros and also projects trying to run through. I mean, you look at the agile methodology.
Yeah.
Get things done quick. Get things done quick. The sort of 2-week sprints. I guess security can often be thought as an afterthought. I could be wrong there, but
no,
that's my sort of 30,000-foot view. Yeah,
that's the traditional view of security, and it's still well ingrained in organisations where it's an it's an add-on, a bolt-on, as we like to call it in the industry. A lot more organisations, as they adhere to more like Agile, etc., has a security component, will actually as the project's been spun up, include a security person in there, just to ensure that the project meets specific standards, etc. But yeah, look, there's a little bit of a groundswell in that.
Yeah.
And I think, as I said before, as the discipline matures and as awareness and then increases and grows, I think you will see it as part of any sort of project management.
Absolutely. In your experience, I mean, obviously at Cisco, they're traditionally looked at as the network guys. Obviously, much more than that. Obviously, there's a lot of startups around. Sort of digital business, enables a lot of startups with, again, great developers. Great great people. What's the I don't know if you come across this, but what's the awareness of security, secure coding practices and so on in and around their development teams?
Yeah, I'd have to say.
Managers,
I'd have to say it's still in its infancy, and it has been for a while. It hasn't. The growth in that area hasn't been as quickly as I would have liked to have seen it. Microsoft launched the whole secure computing, trustworthy computing platform and secure coding. We go 12 years ago, etc. And I still haven't seen that sort of catch on as well as I'd like to. I mean, look, the awareness definitely is improving, but maybe just not as quick as I'd like to see.
Well, there's so many open source technology. Obviously we're looking at the continuous integration, the DevOps movement coming through. Get it out, get it done quickly. I mean, again, it'd be interesting to see because, correct me if I'm wrong, I could be wrong here. Often the vulnerabilities are in the code.
It's almost 100% of the time.
It's one of those.
Yeah.
It's so there's a long way to go, and I think Brian Hay did a talk, didn't he, down at the Fraud and Crime Symposium on the Gold Coast recently.
Yes,
last year. And he likened the security landscape now to the growth of the motor car. And did he say we're kind of back in the 50s still?
Yeah.
We've still got a long way to go before we start getting twin airbags and all the rest of it. It would be very interesting to see how it all evolves over the next few years.
Yeah. No, correct. And the thing is, we will never be able to completely eliminate errors from code, which causes buffer overflows, exploits, etc. But I think as our as awareness raises and we put in new frameworks, etc., we can improve it, make it difficult for for attackers to sort of subvert and exploit code.
Absolutely, absolutely. Well, I mean, look, it's been a great chat with you. I'll just one final question. Any hot tips for 2015? Any sort of things we should be looking out for in terms of trends?
Look, I think in terms of trends, we'll see an increase in sort of high-profile breaches, and that's not just from me. We've seen that year over year, for the last 10 years. I think what we're starting to see a lot more, and this is for a lot more, I guess, pointed at the security industry more poignantly, is that we're going to see a lot more demand from customers for vendors, systems integrators to be more open in terms of their platforms. Because at the moment we've got these fantastic controls in terms of technology, but they all seem to operate in their own little silos. So some way to sort of make them more open and interoperable, I think, will be big in 2015.
But the more open they are, the more holes that can potentially be.
Correct. It's a bit of a balancing act.
And then when SDN really takes hold, takes hold.
Yeah.
Good Lord. Well, we're going to be very busy for the next few years, Lani. So
keep me in the job till I retire, I say.
There we go. Well, thanks very much for coming in, Lani.
Thank
It's been an absolute pleasure. Thank you very much. Thank you. See ya.